Today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to mix your Poppies powder and your regular paint to make your paint for chalk painting. So when you get your package of Poppies, you'll get a box like this, and there's a cup of powder in that box. And a cup is enough to mix with a quart of paint. Now, when you get this is why I love the sample sizes, because you can use just a fourth of the package to one of these cup sample sizes. Or some of the sample sizes are in pints, so you can mix half of the package to that. So today I'm just going to mix a cup of the paint, so I'm going to use a fourth of a cup of the Poppies powder. The ratio is 1 to 4 with the powder and your latex paint. So I've got a cup of the powder, and this is, or a fourth of a cup of the powder, and this is not an exact science. If you don't get the exact amount in, it's fine, and you can add a little bit more of the powder if you want your paint a little chalkier and easier for distressing. So the next step, I've got the powder, a fourth of a cup of the powder in a disposable cup here, and I'm just going to really gradually add warm water to it. I like using warm water because I think it mixes better, and I'm just going to add like a half tablespoon at a time because I want it to be just a thick gravy consistency. And if you accidentally get too much water, just add a little more of the powder to it, because it is not going to make a huge difference in your painting. So it's still a little thick, and there's lumps in it now, but I'll work with it just a little bit and keep stirring it, and those lumps will gradually just dissolve. Hopefully I didn't just get too much water in there, but like I said, we can just add more powder to it if we did. So you're going to want to work for a minute or so just to get those lumps out. And the great thing about this Poppies powder is it's all natural, whereas I've used the plaster of Paris before to make my own chalk paint, and one, that doesn't have a good shelf life. If you seal up the jar or cup and sit it on the shelf, it's going to be lumpy and hard when you go back for it. And the other thing is plaster of Paris is toxic. Like, you need to wear gloves and a mask when you're working with that. But this, all natural, can be around your kids. It doesn't matter if it gets on your hands. It's not going to burn. Okay, so that's pretty well mixed, as you can see. It's a gravy consistency. There's a few little lumps in there, but once you add your paint to it, those usually dissolve pretty well. So that's about the consistency we want it. And now I'm going to add my regular latex paint to it. So if you remember, I used a fourth of a cup of the powder, so I only want to add a half or a cup of the paint. This is a sample that has a full cup of paint. The paint I'm going to mix up today is coming from a pint, and there's 2 cups in the pint. So I'm going to want to just add half of this. And I'm just going to eyeball it because, like I said, it's not an exact science. And if I decide I need to add a little bit more water or the powder, I can do that. So that's about half of this, which is a full cup. And this color is from Ace Hardware, their Clark and Kensington brand, and it's called Lime Zest. Okay. Gonna mix this up. And the powder paste that we mixed earlier is a light color, but it does not change the color of your paint. So it stays pretty true to color, as you can see. So we're just gonna mix that really well. And when you get your paint, your latex paint that you're going to mix with your powder, you want to make sure, well, ideally you want to get like a satin or a flat or eggshell finish. That'll give you the best adhesion to your furniture and mixing. And those samples always come in the satin finish, so you don't have to worry about asking for that. Okay, as you can see, that's mixing pretty good. We'll look at the outside here. That's why I like to use the clear containers, because you can tell a little bit better just to make sure it's mixing up. And that's about the consistency we want. Now, as this sits out and exposed to the air, it might thicken up a little, or if you seal the container and come back to it to use a month later, it might be a little thicker. All you got to do is add a little bit more warm water and then stir it up, and it'll be the consistency you want. And that's the other thing I love about this Poppies powder is you can seal it up, put it on the shelf for a month, and come back and use it again. It's not going to dry out or clump up or anything like that. So it's as easy as that, and you still have enough poppies to make 3 more cups of paint, and you'll be surprised just how far this cup of paint will go. It'll cover, probably, I've used a cup to cover a whole dresser before, so it'll go quite a long way, and it's as easy as that.